Regardless of how you spin it, this Saturday's Iron Bowl will be the end of an era. There's a ton at stake here.
You are Locked On Auburn, your daily podcast on the Auburn Tigers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Yes, welcome on into Locked On Auburn, your daily Auburn Tigers podcast. I'm your host, Zach Blackerby. Thank you so much for making Locked On Auburn your first listen every single day. Happy Charlie Tuesday to all who celebrate. Auburn message board legend Kyle Rush, also known as the Charlie 5, host of the Top Button podcast, hanging out with us as he does every single Tuesday. Is it still John Sumrall for Auburn's next head coach? Is he still the leader in the clubhouse? We discussed that as well as other things coming up. But there's a lot at stake this Saturday. Yes, every Iron Bowl is big. This one feels different for a few reasons. One, I actually kind of feel like Auburn's got the edge in some departments that I wasn't really expecting a few weeks ago. But as far as like looking at this in the macro, you zoom all the way out. And whether you want to point at the chatter that's happening at Penn State, as far as, you know, some of the reports that have come out that they're considering Kalen DeBoer, or some of the things you've heard about DeBoer not liking Tuscaloosa. If Auburn wins this, I think it really gives Auburn the potential to have real momentum in this rivalry on the field for the first time since 2017.
I got to really break that one down. So the momentum comes from way, like, tell me how walk that out for me.
From winning, and I think Alabama possibly not having control of everything for the first time since 2017, 2019.
So even without Auburn having a head coach, I mean, I get what you're saying, because it feels like they could go into a spiral of cycling, I guess. And depending on, I guess the only other thing that could remedy that is if they do leave and then somehow they get into the Lane Kiffin sweepstakes, which that might make all the Alabama fans actually happy. But I guess I see where you're coming from. If you win this, either they're going to want him to leave or he's going to want to for sure get out of town. And could that start? I mean, that's another 2 years coaching change. Could they start kind of going through a little bit of a cycle?
Think about all the narratives that pop up, right?
Yeah.
Like, oh, you know, who wants the pressure at Alabama? I mean, all of a sudden it gets way tougher. I mean, it was kind of tough for the timing of it when Nick Saban threw him under the bus and retired after the windows and all of that happened. And they had to get that going late in the cycle. I mean, I think it gets pretty tough now too. Also, the pressures of if he stays, like, okay, now that's back-to-back 3-loss seasons. Like, what does that mean? They're not going to be happy. I don't know, like, I really think Auburn could throw a wrench in some things in Tuscaloosa if they figure out a way to upset Alabama on Saturday. I mean, and it's not just, if Auburn can do this, it's great. It'd be awesome. It would make the season not suck as much, because that's happened a lot lately. Man, if Auburn pulls off, it would really save the season as far as how we feel about it this week. But this is larger than just like being a blip on the radar. I think this could have major ramifications when it comes to the positioning of all of it, because then you can go into signing day. Like, I assume we'll have a coach by signing day. I'm assuming we'll touch more on that in the second segment. But I just think we have a chance to go into uncharted waters if they pull this off, and some of these reports that are coming out of Penn State and Tuscaloosa are correct.
Sure, and you could ride that wave of momentum and look at possibly picking off a couple of big-time in-state prospects. If you want to rally the troops and throw a bag at Tank Jones, you could possibly pull him. If DeBoer leaves, could you go flip Sedarian Morgan? There is several things that you could sort of ride that wave if you make a hire quickly and you come out with a victory. I see where you're going with this. I can get on board that. I could see a little bit of a spiral over there if something were to happen. Imagine Alabama. Imagine you're an Alabama fan and your second year head coach loses to an Auburn team that has an interim head coach.
Be bad.
Has that ever happened? Has Alabama ever lost to an interim Auburn?
I doubt it.
Coach?
I mean, we don't have a ton of them, right? Normally we wait till the end of the season to do it. So
Right.
I do also wonder, like, the narrative of Auburn kicked you out of the playoffs because, man, would we run with that in a heartbeat?
Totally. It's happened before. Auburn's eliminated playoff hopes before, so it would be fun. It would be kind of fun. It doesn't necessarily make up for all the disappointment all year, but it does kind of at least make it a little bit more palatable, I guess, if that's your, what do you call it, your consolation prize, I guess, is knocking them down a notch. So, yeah, I'm tracking with you now.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's a stretch and it's a big if. I mean, Auburn's going to win the football game, and we've talked about this before. We talked about when we went live on the Barncast Sunday night, and hinted at other places. Like, I do think Auburn is going to be able to score, and I know that there's some concern and questions about Auburn's pass defense and Alabama's explosive passing offense. Like, I think that's a mismatch in favor of Alabama, but I just have a hard time seeing DJ Durkin and this Auburn defense not be prepared for what's, could be thrown their way Saturday.
He mentioned something in his press conference yesterday where he talked about, I guess he was kind of asked about that. Like, or is it to the point now where you actually feel like your head stops spinning and you're able to jump back in on the defensive side? And he's like, yeah, week to week, it's just like when you're a player and you get more experience, the game slows down. And he said, I feel like the game's slowing down a lot. Everything's slowing down a lot more. And I can focus on being the defensive coordinator. And I think you'll probably see hopefully you'll see one of your better defensive efforts of the year. They should be fired up, ready to go. No injuries to report up, which was good. You're worried about Keldric and a couple other guys. I'll have to.
Were you surprised he answered that a little bit?
Yeah. I mean, he said nobody's injured. He's like,
nobody's
everybody
injured,
that got banged up is good.
Keldric will be ready to go. I'm like, okay, he's playing everything else so close to the vest. I'm surprised he just gave that info up.
Yeah, like the quarterback situation. He was kind of.
Yeah, he was asked about Deuce.
He did say Ashton was starting, but he wouldn't really commit to anything. Yeah, he was asked
the Deuce package question, and he just talked about how great Deuce was on Saturday.
Why does everybody always want to go to the package? I don't know why everybody wants to go straight to the package.
I mean, it'd be different if Ashton was a statue in the pocket, but that's not what we're dealing with here. Like, defensively, when Ashton's in, you worry about a quarterback who can run the football as well as pass it. When Deuce is in, you have a quarterback that can run the ball as well as pass it. Like, I don't, unless you don't want to bruise up Ashton, like if you
which
feel
is the last game of the year. So
right. So the pitch, and he hasn't played that much. Like, the pitch count can't be. I don't think that's an argument for it.
Like, I thought about that like heavy package we went with when they brought in Jackson. I was like, that could be a good idea for like a really short yardage. But I'm like, Ashton can do that too, and he's bigger than Jackson and longer. He can get a better reach
and has a fumble on the goal line.
That's true. Hasn't done that either. So there's really no reason, in my opinion, to swap anything. Just let Ashton.
Yeah, I mean, it goes back to the conversations we had going into the season with, like, okay, can Ashton get packages with Jackson starting? I'm like, well, Jackson can run it. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah,
doesn't make any sense.
You need to end that. Just end that altogether.
Unless you want to spark, is that a fan service thing? But I can't imagine that being a strategic thing that, like, it feels like it gives you a better chance to win in that scenario. But I get the gamesmanship, right? One, you want to give Deuce hope that he's going to be part of the game plan, but also, like, it's not going to hurt my feelings if Alabama's going to spend a few minutes this week prepping for what to do if Deuce comes in. That's not going to hurt my feelings at all.
I'm right there with you.
Yep,
I'm right there with you.
All right, the coaching chatter, like, it's still going on. Is it still John Sumrall? I think so. That's next right here on Locked On Auburn. Today's show brought to you by our friends at FanDuel. FanDuel is America's #1 sportsbook. Kyle, as we record this, Auburn still a 5.5-point dog against Alabama on Saturday. And I was curious if there would be any movement since it opened, and that just really hasn't been the case. An interesting spread, I think. First half spread on FanDuel, Auburn plus 3.5. If I'm taking a half spread, I think there's a solid chance it's tied or Auburn has a slight lead to half.
Or, I mean, 3.5, you got the hook. I mean,
if it's 17-14 or 13-10, like you win.
Exactly. I like that.
That might be worth looking at. Right now, FanDuel is giving new customers $300 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. So head to FanDuel.com to sign up and play your game today with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Today's show also brought to you by our friends at Kia Autosport of Columbus. We all love Kias here. My family has purchased a Kia Sorento. We love Kia vehicles. The Kia Sorento, very versatile, the versatile SUV. We bought it when we had a second kiddo on the way years ago. We wanted more room, and it has allowed all of that, which is great. Head over to KiaAutosportColumbus.com or go check them out in person. Go just over off of Whittlesey Boulevard in Columbus, Georgia. They'll take care of you when you get there. Say, hey, I heard about you guys on Locked on Auburn. They'll knock $500 off any new Kia purchase there. They've also got, tires for life with any new Kia purchase. So go and give them some love. KiaAutosportColumbus.com or go check them out just off of Whittlesey Boulevard. Thank you so much for making Locked on Auburn your first listen every single day. Talked yesterday about some of the rumblings out of Oxford, Mississippi, Ole Miss. If Lane Kiffin were to leave Ole Miss to go to LSU, which seems to be the thing that's happening now, and it might happen or be announced on Saturday, which is interesting timing wise because Auburn will still have a game to play on Saturday when the Egg Bowl is done. Curious how much of that smoke is legit. Ole Miss seems confident in this. For somebody who is losing their coach to walk away, they feel very confident about that situation. But it seems like folks at Auburn feel pretty confident as well, Kyle.
Yeah, you got to be a little bit concerned because if you're Ole Miss, like you can't really conduct a true search. You know what I mean? Because you still have a coach and you don't really 100% know what he's going to do. And you might, who knows, this could be a huge troll job and he ends up staying at Ole Miss. Like I would not put that past.
That'd be crazy.
Lane, that would be awesome, by the way. It would be crazy if that happened. But here's the thing. If he does go, because they haven't been able to really do a formal search, they could get into a panic situation. And when you're in a panic situation and you don't have to worry about buyout money or anything like that, you may be willing to spend something that Auburn may not be willing to spend. So like it could be a scenario to where they could go into a panic mode and throw out panic money. And who knows, that could be enough to do the trick. So I don't want to act like it's completely impossible that could happen.
Yeah.
And then who knows if, I feel like things are okay with the whole DJ Durkin situation, and that situation seems like it would be fine. But if I can go to Ole Miss and make the same kind of money, and I don't have to, I can hire whoever I want to hire. Like that could come into play. I mean, I totally see how it could happen. I do feel like Auburn's really confident, and it wouldn't necessarily shock me, but I would be. Because I think it can definitely happen, but I'd be surprised if it happened.
You'd be surprised if Auburn didn't get John Sumrall.
I feel like it's heading in that direction, and it would take something. It wouldn't necessarily shock me if he went to Ole Miss, but it feels like it's headed in Auburn's direction. So anything else would be like, man. I know the possibility was out there, but I didn't really see it coming, kind of thing.
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes sense.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Okay. Ole Miss pulled it off. Good on them. That was some forward thinking on their part. Yeah. Part of me wonders if it's done, if like everything on the Auburn side is done and handled.
I've never really been a part of a search quite like this.
It's so different than the other two.
It really is. It really is. And mainly I think it's because there's no fighting and it does seem like everybody's going in the same direction. So,
right.
And it's been so quiet and like no real off the wall names have been out there. You vetted your candidates at the beginning. There's a bunch of names and then it's just gone completely silent since then. And, when people get nervous, people talk. So it doesn't feel like that's happening at Auburn. And it could just be that, if things do go awry, you got DJ Durkin right there, or if there's mystery candidate exists, you got a backup plan. So maybe that's why nobody's mega nervous or talking about things like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Then like how quickly do they announce an offensive coordinator as well, assuming DJ Durkin stays? I don't know. There's so much that could happen quickly. And look, a lot of people are like, why are you guys love John Sumrall so much? And like, I don't think John Sumrall is a bad decision, but like we're talking about what the reports are saying and the people that we're talking to since the get-go, all signs have pointed towards John Sumrall. Yeah. I've been pretty consistent. He would not be my first call if I was John Cohen, and he may not have been. We don't know. But all signs are pointing to John Sumrall. So like this isn't some love fest for John Sumrall. It's just This is the name that we've heard over and over and over again. Are there concerns when you hire someone who hasn't won at the P4 level? Yes. Yes, there is. But
there's also concerns when you hire people from the P4 level and as coordinators and really there's been failures on hires from every level from the NFL.
It's not. Yeah, if it was a perfect science, you would never have any, whiffs or bust.
Exactly.
Could he be, Billy Napier 2.0? He could be. He also could be, Kurt Cignetti. And
exactly.
That's kind of what you got to hope for. Because I forgot where we talked about this, but there is a future star coach coaching in the P5 right now. Like the numbers, like the logic, like there has
G5, yeah, 1,000%, 1,000%. There's somebody down there that's going to come up and is going to have success.
And you hope that you pick the right one.
And there's a coordinator that's going to have success.
Makes sense.
Yeah, there's a coordinator that's going to have success. And I'll tell you what, there's going to be a big time hire from the Power 4 level that's going to fail too. Just watch it; it's going to happen. So. You just gotta evaluate, look at the fit, look at the plan, and see how it translates to what you want to do and what you want to achieve, and roll the dice and see what happens.
Yeah.
But I'm like you, I'd probably call a couple of other guys first. It's not like Sumrall's necessarily my top choice, but my top choice is not John Cohen's top choice. And we may have called a couple of.
He's going to have access to a lot more information than us, and so
exactly.
Hopefully that works out.
But that is,
I've been pretty clear. Like Kenny Dillingham is my first choice throughout. If I'm John Cohen, I call him several times before I give up. There, Lincoln Riley, I think is super super interesting. Once again, I understand the negatives that could come with that as well. But we'll see. We'll see if it is John Sumrall. I mean. I'm not pro or anti anybody. I'm pro Auburn. And if it's John Sumrall and John Sumrall's Auburn's next head coach, I hope he wins every game he coaches. That'd be incredible.
Be awesome. Fantastic. Be a breath of fresh air.
Yeah, it would. It would. DJ Durkin didn't say much, and we already hinted at a little bit of what he said yesterday, but let's jump into a few more things that he touched on next, right here on Locked On Auburn. Kyle, it surprised me a little bit when they started out the week. He said Monday morning that they had to just that they did educate people, their players on the Iron Bowl because it's so different than it used to be. I mean, a lot of people, from all over the country, players that have been here for 5 minutes. It's not like it used to be where somebody, gets here and they've been here 5 years. So everybody knows what the Iron Bowl is. And I thought that was interesting, and not to I'm pro transfer portal. I'm pro NIL. I'm pro all of this era of college football, but that is one of the things that, I guess is the negatives of this is you have to,
skin in the game.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. But I'll actually, that's the first time I feel like I've heard that's been done and it may have, they may do it every year. But it's the first time I feel like it's been done, and I think that's huge because I can imagine as you're a college athlete, you just kind of get in a cycle, and it's just another game. And sometimes you need to be reminded of the history behind it and how this impacts lives across the state, and how big and how many eyeballs you got. Kurt Herbstreit and Chris Fowler and Pete coming, or whatever the dog's name is, coming for the game. You got all this stuff going on, and it's a really big deal. So I kind of like having a quick little refresher course just to get your mind moving in the right direction. I've never heard of that being a thing before.
Yeah, and was it not a thing before because it wasn't needed, and it's more needed now?
Maybe so.
I don't know. But like if you go to a program like Auburn or any SEC team, like you want to be remembered, you want to leave a legacy, right? That's kind of something you hear in sports a ton. And I mean, pretty much every great Auburn player, if your picture's on the wall in the stadium or in the athletics department, odds are, I'm sure there's a few exceptions. None are popping in my brain right now, but odds are you did something in an Iron Bowl. Right? Like it's so important about the core and the history of this great football program. And so I'm sure that was kind of sprinkled in. I would love to see that presentation that was given.
Me too.
I'm being 100% honest with you. Like, what did they, because I mean, you could talk, if you talk about every Iron Bowl, like you don't have any time to prep for Alabama, right? So I do wonder like what they put together, and
that should you should be able to buy that on War Eagle Plus.
Yeah, that'd get a few subscriptions for sure. Anything else that he said? Yeah, we already touched on like what he said about Deuce and what he said about Keldric, which I think the Keldric comment was the most important thing. Obviously, talked up Alabama and Ty Simpson, and I like that he was asked about, Alabama hasn't had a ton of success running the football, and so Durkin talked about, hey, a lot of those quick passes, especially on the perimeter, that they probably view that as kind of like a running game that doesn't show up in the box score. That tells me that that's an emphasis, which it should be, because they're so dynamic. You just want the ball in those guys' hands, and let's just see what happens. I thought that could be telling as far as, where he's focused on. But anything else that he said that really kind of, okay, I'm going to take this with me?
It's not necessarily something that he didn't really talk about that I'm a little bit concerned over is the running back situation, because you saw it was not a conference game, so you didn't have an injury report last week. So there will be an injury report this week, like updated throughout the week. But I mean, you had Jeremiah Cobb, and then you had Justin Jones, who's a walk-on. That was your backup. So you still aren't seeing Darrell.
Scholarship though, right? Didn't he get a scholarship?
Maybe he is. You're still not seeing Darrell. The bottom line is he's
your fourth guy, right?
Yeah. You didn't see Darrell, and you didn't see Omar. And I don't even really 100% know what happened to Omar. I think he may have gotten his shoulder or something dinged up in the Vanderbilt game. But yeah, like if Auburn's going to sustain drives and keep things going, you got to get that running game going without just it being all on Ashton.
Right.
So I'm a little bit, I don't know how I feel about that because we didn't hear anything at the press conference. Maybe I should have gone and asked that question.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he was asked about health.
Yeah.
And he said everybody's good.
That was from injured from the last game. He didn't say like I think he was specifically asked about players that got dinged up, like Keldric Falk and Jeremiah Cobb and whatnot.
Well, they sent out the transcript. Let's look.
Yeah.
But you're probably right.
I don't think he was asked like past players. Like he wasn't specifically asked about Darrell Robinson or Omar Mapson. I think it was just basically like guys that got banged up against Mercer.
Yeah, the answer was no concerns. We have a couple guys get banged up, but I think everyone will be good to go through our usual week right now.
Yeah, and maybe you just hold them out because you feel okay because it's Mercer. You feel like
maybe it was a nod to Justin Jones too. Maybe that was just
it was senior night. So is he a senior?
I feel like he's been here a long time.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
So there we go. Yeah. Then he was asked a few questions later about Keldric. Said he'll be ready to go. We got dinged up a little bit, but we were at a point in the game where he didn't need to keep playing in that game based on the situation, which is what we all hoped, right? So
yeah, Justin Jones is a senior, so that makes sense.
Okay. Yeah. So maybe that was part of it too. Just kind of a nod to him because he was here for a long time. So
no doubt.
But all in all, like pretty boring presser, which isn't a bad thing.
We're like 3 for 3 on those.
Yeah, no, I think that's going to be a thing for him. Like, I don't think he cares about the.
I'm totally okay with that. It's going to be frustrating.
I want to be here, and I don't really blame you. So
yeah,
there you go. All right, cool. Kyle, how can people check out everything you've got going on? Kyle?
Absolutely. Go to the Barn Auburn YouTube page. Check out our different membership levels and our bonus video content that we're putting out. And then also anywhere you get a podcast, the Barn Podcast Network.
Please like the video. Please subscribe. We'll see you next time. This has been Locked on Auburn.